either your phone line or your computer audio, whichever one you're using. That way, if people aren't able to attend, we can allow them to listen to this and we can go back and listen to it as well. So thank you everyone for being here. We're just gonna, Jennifer and I are just gonna go down our list and call out programs. And if you're here, please unmute yourself and make yourself known. City of Dayton. Dayton Core.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Oh,
hello?
Amanda, yes, awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, Brenda and I are on the line.
Okay. What about College Now, Greater Cleveland?
This is Bridget, we're here. Bernadette's also joining us.
Excellent. Mercy Health.
This is Sarah, I'm on.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey.
Neomed.
Val is here.
Hi, Val. Hello. OACC.
I'm here, it's Latoya.
Hi, Latoya. OU, ComCore.
This is Eric. Lauren's on vacation.
Lucky Lauren. Hi, Eric. Roll Action.
Yeah, Shannon's here.
Hi, Shannon. Santa Maria, Project Advance.
Dale and Bonnie are here.
Hi, Dale and Bonnie.
Hey.
YMCA.
This is Dean. Pam Slater and I are both on.
Awesome. Hi, you guys.
You. Hi.
YMDC. Jack. All right, maybe Jack will be joining us in just a few minutes. Cincinnati Zoo.
Hi, it's Amanda at the zoo.
Amanda. City or Columbus?
This is Sandra.
Oh, hey, Sandra. What about City or Columbus? Or city year in general? I see a city year person.
Rachel Ennis and Ann King are here from City Year Headquarters.
Awesome. Great to have you on the call today.
Thank you.
CPO?
Happy to be joining.
Oh, great. Yes.
Brittany here.
Hey, Brittany. Fairfield County ESC. I think I see you, Will. Hey, Will. Okay, I hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Derek Jackson and Will, we're both on.
Excellent. Good to hear you. Horizon.
I'm here, although I have no idea. Okay, it works good.
We hear you. And OHS.
Amy's here.
Hi, Amy. Sinclair, Mentoring Collaborative.
Jessica, Angie are here.
Excellent. Springfield Promise.
This is Zach Cohn with Promise.
Hi, Zach. And Teach for America.
This is Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
I think Paige and Jennifer are going to be on too.
Awesome. A full house today. That's awesome. And just as a reminder, if everyone could mute their line right now, we are recording. Yeah. So just a little reminder about the background of this policy. This is something that we had discussed at our last quarterly call in May, and we wanted to get your input because we learned from CNCS that they were going to implement a new, what they called pre-enrollment policy. We didn't really have any other details, and we just asked for your feedback, so thank you so much for that feedback. We sent it on to CNCS, and then at the end of last week, we got notification of implementation of this policy. And so we have put together a flow chart that we sent out to everyone. Of our understanding, we've also sent this to our program officer. We've talked through it with our program officer at CNCS and talked through the process multiple times internally together. So we are confident that this is the process. And until CNCS releases a flow chart, we're going to talk through this. This is a draft, so please know the draft writing behind the yellow. But know that we will let you know if this changes or when this is updated. But we wanted to take some time today to talk through this with you because it will impact your 18-19 service year and enrollment. Specifically, this goes into effect July 2nd, 2018. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in. Thank you for reviewing the materials ahead of time. If you do have questions, we've muted everyone's line right now, but go ahead and type them into the chat box, and we will pause after we get through the whole flow chart and answer any questions. So as we're going through it, make notes so that we can make sure your questions are answered. Okay, so step one, recruitment. Something that you all are already familiar with, and a majority of you already post your service opportunities on the My AmeriCorps portal. But part of this new enrollment process is that they are requiring all subgrantees to post on the My AmeriCorps portal. So with recruitment, so either you are accepting applications, and that's how you predominantly receive your applications is through the My AmeriCorps portal, or some programs do just have it posted and have their own application process. So that's kind of where those two boxes go, or where they come from. And then ultimately, after your screening, your interviewing, you make selections. And internally, all of you make some sort of offer. And once the applicant accepts that offer, most likely you send them information about the next steps. So that's where we go into the second column, which is step 2. So now you must send an invitation through the applicant portal. So there are kind of 2 tracks for that as well. One track is the applicant may already have a profile in My AmeriCorps, or the applicant doesn't have a profile in My AmeriCorps yet. So this is where the 2 tracks are important. We're going to start on the left track. If the person has a profile, then you will just search for them and send them an invitation. The applicant will then be prompted through the acceptance of that invitation through their email to verify their information, update any contact information, make sure everything is correct. So that includes their social security number, their legal name, their residence, all of that, and then they'll hit save. If the applicant doesn't have a profile, you'll do what you've done in the past as far as invite them through their personal email and send them an invitation to serve with your program. From there, similar, the applicant will be prompted to create a profile within the portal with contact information, and then they'll save that information. You can prompt the applicant that if there is more information, if there are open-ended questions, if there's any other additional information that they're required to write, you can just have them write C resume or C application. They don't need to spend a lot of time doing that. That's just kind of a little side note. Then both of these tracks come together because once the applicant saves their personal details, their information will automatically be sent to the Social Security Administration to verify their Social Security status and their citizenship status. So this is a little bit different. This is where the whole point of this invitation process is to get that information verified prior to them showing up on day one for orientation and to start their service. So then, if they are not verified electronically, there will be a process to submit their documentation and they will be verified manually. The fax line, to our knowledge, is going away. Woo! And there was much rejoicing. And what will happen is you will have to request a secure link through the CNCS help desk, and then they will send you that link and you'll be able to upload the information. If your applicant's information is verified electronically, then they will move right over into that enrollment basket in eGrants. All right, now moving on to step 3, which is the member enrollment. So this is where the title of pre-enrollment gets a little tricky. You're not actually pre-enrolling anyone before they show up on their first day of service. It's really pre-enrollment activities that are happening as far as verifying their eligibility to serve. That's the pre-work that's happening. Enrollment is still happening on or after their first day of service. So I know we were all concerned about enrolling members before they even show up. That's not the case. If you reviewed the FAQs, they don't want you to enroll members until they show up. So that's good. So once the member's eligibility has been verified, as I mentioned, their information, their profile, if you will appear in that pending enrollment basket in eGrants. You will not be able to enroll any member until their eligibility has been verified. So this is really important. Once they've been verified, there are a few more additional steps or boxes you have to check on their enrollment information. So before, you just had to write in their service site, their program name, their slot type, their start date, and then you could certify their enrollment. Well, now there will be a few other sections that you have to certify. Until their eligibility, so the Social Security number and citizenship is verified, this box will be grayed out and you won't even be able to enroll them. So they've created the system, the system won't let you do it. So the first two will be kind of checked off once they're verified. Then the third step is that you will have to certify that the NSOPW was completed and compliant. And then there'll be a space for you to put the date that the NSOPW was completed. And as a reminder, that must be before the first day of service. Then number 4, you'll have to certify that the FBI and state checks, so state of service and state of residence checks, were initiated on or before the start date of service. And you also have to include that date there. Then, once all of that is done, you will enroll them. You'll just click enroll after you enter the service site, the placement, the program name, and the slot type. So you must enroll members by 5 calendar days, and that includes the first day of service. And again, you can't complete enrollment prior to the member showing up for service. Okay. Now we're going to go to the chat box for questions, and then, okay, that is correct, Shannon. So Shannon said, but we can't offer them, you can't send an invitation to them until your grant is approved. That is correct. So if you are doing interviews right now, the NOGAs have notice of grant award have not been released yet. So while you are getting those applicants situated, so while you're doing interviews and you're collecting all of their other information, you cannot send invites out yet. You have to wait until that notice of grant is approved. So keep that line of communication open. Once that happens, then you can go in and do that. Amy said, can we use the selection part of their My AmeriCorps application, or does it have to be an invitation? My understanding is it's similar, but I can get back to you on that specific. I believe the selection, I think they're saying invitation because they've noticed or they know that not everyone uses the My AmeriCorps portal as a means of actually applying to the programs. So I will get back to you on that one. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Okay. Will programs be able to search all applicants with existing accounts? And secondly, if we create an invitation for an individual who has an account, will the system give us an error message indicating that the individual is already in the system? I'm assuming that with the changes that they're making, you should be able to search, if they already have an existing account, you should be able to search them and find them, and then you have a link, you have a little, not even a button, the words are bold, and you're able to hover over that and click invite member. But if you're not able to find them, I see what you're saying here where I know what you're talking about, where sometimes if you create an invitation for someone who already has an account, but you don't know they have an account or you can't find them, then it'll give you an error message. We will also take that back and do a little research. Okay. Okay, so similar to, sorry. Read the question, Mary said. Are we notified if they're not verified electronically? So similar to the current setup, my understanding of what we've heard from CNCS and our program officer is the program, whoever is listed as the program contact in eGrants, so it's also important to make sure the program contact in eGrants is either you or someone who forwards you those emails. They should get an email notification saying that it's not been verified. That the member will not, similar to now, the member will not, but you should get an email noting that they are verified. Now, on the other hand, we have been told that you will not get an email once they are verified. So I understand that that's quite challenging. We were instructed by CNCS that their status will show up as verified once it has been verified. In the FAQs, it does talk about the turnaround time and how often the statuses are updated. Sorry, I'm looking for that specific. Okay, so on number 10 in the FAQs, what is the expected turnaround time on the Social Security and citizenship verification? They said records are sent to the Social Security Administration nightly each business day and are updated in the grantee portal by the next morning. So in theory, you could check the next morning if it's a business day, knowing that you sent out those invitations. Okay, there we go. How will we know if it's verified? Hopefully that answers it. It looks the same in eGrants, so you should be able to log in and check that person, and it'll say verified, not verified, the same as it is now. Is there an estimate on how long it'll take to verify? So again, they're saying in the FAQs, it could be a quick turnaround overnight. I hesitate to promise 24 or 48 hours because it does say in here, each business day, all of that information is sent over. So if you submit it on a Friday night, it won't appear on Saturday. It'll most likely appear on Monday or Tuesday. So unfortunately, we've asked for that timeline, but they're working on it. Okay, if we are entering background check and NSOPW info into eGrants, can we skip that section in Encore? So Amanda, I believe you're talking about in Encore, there is a section at the bottom that you can use to track that information. That information is not required by us in Encore, but it is a good reference. So you don't have to put it in Encore unless you want to. So like you said, yes, you are kind of putting it in 3 places if you're doing it in Encore. You're putting it in eGrants, which is required. You're putting it on the NSO, the National Service Criminal History Check and member file checklist as well. So that's the second time. And then the third time would be Encore, but you do not need to do that. Okay, next question. In a worst case example, if a member is unable to get their citizenship verified, how does that affect the 5 calendar day window to enroll a member in eGrants? So a member should not be showing up to your orientation until they're verified. So it shouldn't impact your enrollment because they shouldn't come to orientation or start service until they're verified. Okay. If they are not verified, will they be able to complete member enrollment? No. So member enrollment cannot be completed or initiated until the member's eligibility is verified. So they can't even show up to our orientation. I know in the past, in the FAQs, it talks about it too, where other states and other programs have this as well, where members show up with their eligibility documents on the first day of service. That is not going to be the process anymore. The eligibility has to be verified prior to them showing up. Okay. Mary's going to open the lines. So if anyone else has any other questions or wants clarifying information based on what I just said, as a side note, internally, I think everyone may need to think about, and Jennifer and I can work with you individually about reevaluating your recruitment, interview, and enrollment processes that you already have in place. Maybe we set a cutoff date of a week before, no more interviews, no more offers, so that you can get everybody's information in. I mean, I've done it. I just raised my hand like you could see this. Sorry. I know Jennifer's done it. I interviewed someone the day before orientation and said, hey, come tomorrow, bring all these things, and you can start. That's not going to be the case anymore. Okay, someone said, FAQ number 12, what is the CNCS hotline? Is that just our program officer or the specific phone number to report? So there is a hotline number, but also online in eGrants, there is a web question, a way you submit questions electronically. So that is where you will request the secure link. Should you need to send in a member's eligibility documents, you will go to that helpline question box. You'll fill out your name, your program's name, and Jennifer and I like that you copy us as well. That way we can keep track of it for you, and also we can intervene if necessary. But that's where you will request a secure link to submit eligibility documents.
And as a side note, you guys, you might want to just do that now so that you have it if something comes up. Because from what we understand, it doesn't expire. It has an expiration date.
So they used to do that, but I think moving for it does expire in 3 days. I think before, when they were submitting all the documents this summer from May, I don't think it expired then because they knew people would be collecting a lot of information. So we just got information that the links do expire, so you can't request it now. Unfortunately, you have to wait until you need a manual verification. Okay, so returning members will have to be verified as well, correct? So no, if a member's status in eGrants is already verified, you don't have to verify them again. Their status will change to previously served. However, this is where it gets tricky again with the 5 days. It also applies to them. So you'll need to exit them quickly at the end of their service, which means their timesheets will need to be submitted. All of that information will need to be completed if you have a program that the end date backs up to the start date. Because you will only have 5 days to enroll that member who's returning. In Ohio, our policy is that you have 15 days to exit members once they've completed their service. But if they're returning and your program dates are back to back, then you'll need to be cognizant of that so that you don't enroll them late. Any other questions?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
The 5 days, does that start the first day of service or the date after they exit for returning members?
First day of service.
Okay.
First day of service. Does this apply to interns as well? Brittany, no. Interns are not enrolled. If they are serving in your AmeriCorps program and earning an education award, then they would need to be enrolled as a member. But if they are, I think I know what you're talking about, your social work interns do not need to go through this process because they're not AmeriCorps members. Do we still need to clear out invitations 1 second? Yes. Thank you, Jennifer. So the other thing is I need everyone to log in to eGrants, and all of those pending invitations and pending enrollments, if they are not for the upcoming 18-19 year, you need to delete them. Starting July 2nd, they're going to start running everybody's citizenship and Social Security for validation. Whoever's in that invitation bucket, they're going to start running them. If you don't know how to do that, you can contact your program officer and we will send you screenshots of how to complete that. But really, once you log in those tabs on the top when you're looking at your portal, there's an invitation basket. You click on that, and if there's people left over from 1999, then you need to get rid of them. And same thing with enrollment. SNN work basket. Thank you, Jennifer.
Hi, I had a question. This is Latoya.
Hi, Latoya.
So just to make sure I understand, we have 5 days to enroll, but we still have 15 days to exit, correct?
Correct. So the exit and changing of term with suspension is still 15 days in the state of Ohio. You're correct on that. Enrollment is the only thing that's changing to 5. So you should be thankful, guys, that we stipulated 15 days. So instead it's only a 10-day change as opposed to 25 days. This is me trying to be optimistic and positive. Okay, we have 2 questions on the chat. Pending applications can stay. Yes, pending applications can stay. Question, if current members never successfully completed their invitation, but we got them enrolled, will deleting their pending thing hurt anything? No, if you delete their pending invitation, it will not impact they're already enrolled in the National Service Trust, so that will not impact them. Good question, Shannon. Anyone else over the phone? Phew, you're welcome, Shannon.
Oh, I have a question.
Hold on, Sandra. Who was speaking just before that?
It's Amy.
Hi, Amy. Go ahead.
So if they start late, we have 5 days from their start date, right? So if they're not verified and we want to push their start date back by 2 weeks to get them verified, that's okay?
Yes. If that's the case, communicate that with your program officer, and we will, make note, and you can adjust their service contract to reflect their end date as well.
Okay.
From that. Yep, you're correct. Sandra?
I just wanted to make sure, so in e-grants in the SSN basket, anybody that is a submitted or waiting for review application, we don't need to do anything with that, just
Correct.
if there's an invitation.
Correct. Just the invitations and pending invitations and pending enrollments.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Anything else at this moment? We have just 2 other things to cover. So while we cover those, if you think of other questions, go ahead and jot them down and we'll follow back up at the end of the call. Okay.
All right, so it was brought to my attention last week that, actually Monday, that the BCI has made some changes to how they authorize background checks using different reason codes. So before, you guys had reason codes to use for your FBI checks, and again, this only affects the FBI checks for the Volunteer Children's Act as a reason code. As of April of this year, that code no longer exists. You cannot use it at all. So there is a new code called the National Child and Volunteers Act of 1993 that you would use. So in using this reason code, you have to fill out and complete and submit an application called Volunteer and Employee Criminal History Application. And it has to be on file with the BCI. This application will be submitted to them. They will approve your organization to receive those results. You will get a notification that you've been approved. And so then once you have started to have applicants go through the FBI process, when their results go to BCI&I, they'll actually release them to whoever is on file through this application. Now, if you do not fill out this application with BCI&I and they send in the BCI and FBI results, you'll still get your BCI results, but your FBI results will sit at BCI&I in London, and it will not be released to you. On the other side of that is vendors cannot receive the FBI information as well. No vendor in Ohio will be allowed to receive and post those results on their web portal anymore. So I know many of you use vendors. You might want to find out how they want to go about doing that, but I'm telling you that you're going to have to do this application and someone's going to have to be responsible to get those results. The other part of that is the results are mailed to you now for the FBI. So you're going to have, receiving the BCI will release you from accompaniment, but someone's going to have to be looking in the mail for those FBI results. So, with all that being said, it has been updated in the program manual. I am more than happy to send out this paragraph to everyone so that you have this language. But are there any questions about what I just said?
Where do you get that application?
Hold on. Dale, I heard Dale first.
Where is the application?
The application is on the BCI website and the Attorney Governor's, but I can send it to you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, Jennifer, it's Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
Hello. I do have a question. So we've been doing BCI and FBI, and we use field print. And this is the first time I'm hearing about the application. So I definitely would love to see that and do whatever we need to do. But what's interesting is that both of our BCI and FBI do say, like I'm looking at one dated May 23rd, and it does have the NC blah, 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 blah on there.
But you got the
You got the FBI results back? Because according to BCI&I, you would not.
Yeah, we have been. We've been getting them back. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting.
This is Jessica with.
According to them, you shouldn't be getting it. So I don't know what's going on. That's their new policy, which was put in place in April.
Bridget, it's Mary. I would make sure you contact them, whoever you use for your vendor, and confirm the process is still the same.
Okay, I will do that. We use field print, so for anyone else that's using field print, yeah, I'll do that. Thank you, Mary.
We have a couple of questions online, so I'll let Jennifer answer them. How long do you expect it to take for them to accept our application for the new code?
Right now, according to BCI&I, it's taking a week for them to approve organizations.
Okay. Sandra, can we add the name of the vendor that we use on the application?
According to them, they're not releasing the information to the vendor. You can add them, or you can call and see if it's going to be an issue. But according to BCI&I, they're not releasing that information to vendors. So keep your name on it.
Directly to us?
Yes, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, whoever is the authorized individual. So it might be like your HR department. You know, whoever's going to take responsibility for gathering those results.
Okay.
Okay, Shannon, is there a number code we can use instead of that long name or an abbreviation?
There is abbreviation. It's the NCPA /VCA. There you go. You're welcome.
But you still have to fill out the application.
Can we type that in there?
Yeah.
NCPA.
Okay. Any other questions about the FBI changes?
Yes, I'm typing.
Oh, Sandra? Okay. While you're typing, can you include that abbreviation in the link? What link?
When you're going to send us the application, or how to access the application?
Yeah, I'm going to send you this paragraph that's in the manual that I just updated, and I'm going to send you the application. So you'll have both.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes. And in the paragraph, it gives you a fax number, because according to the person I talked to from BCI&I, they're accepting fax applications, but the fax number isn't actually on the application. So he gave me the fax number.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then the final reminder, Jennifer and I sent out emails this week about the NSOPW checks. Apparently Minnesota is not reporting. So if you are in the process of recruiting and interviewing and you're running your NSOPWs during that process, please review that guidance from CNCS about what to do. There are two options. So please be sure you review that information that we sent about how to follow through to make sure they are compliant checks. Any questions about the enrollment process and the flow chart?
No, but I have a question about Minnesota. This is Sandra, sorry.
Hey, Sandra.
Once we have done, because I use the Minnesota Sexual Predators website as a verification, once Minnesota is back up, do we have to do another NSOPW?
If you followed the steps that are listed, and I believe that's option 2, then that is a compliant check.
Okay.
Again, if you want to follow up with Jennifer and I after this call specific to your program about talking through changes to make in recruitment or your onboarding process, we are happy to have those conversations. I know both she and I in the past, when we were program directors, we would hold paperwork sessions prior to orientation, so that if that's an option for you, where you have members come in and complete paperwork and possibly go through the invitation process through my AmeriCorps, that's one option that I can think of right now. But be sure to reach out to us, and we can help you go through that process. As we get updated information, we will be sure to share that with you. This is what we have right now, and we hope that this fall and this flow chart and all of this information was helpful. Any final questions?
Yes, this is Shannon. When do we have to do that that webinar process for NCHC again?
Oh, it's still 30 days after Stirring Strong.
Okay, thanks.
So mid-August-ish has to be done. It's up now. You're more than welcome to do it now if you want. I completed mine in February. It's up now, but it's not required until 30 days after Starting Strong.
All right, everyone, if there are no further questions, again, feel free to reach out to us individually to talk about your program specifically. If not, Mary, anything? Nope. Jennifer?
I'm good.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Hanging up.
Bye.